Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited about today's video because it's going to be so much fun for me and I'm very excited about how you guys are going to feel about it. It is an idea that I've been sitting on for quite a while and I just never got around to doing it. I will be recommending you books, and how I'm going to be doing that is actually quite fun to me. A couple of months back, I got a really cool deck of cards from Illumicrate, and they are reading prompt cards. It says, "For the indecisive bookworm who has too many books," and it's so funny. The cards are stunning. I have shown them once before on this channel, so you probably have already seen them if you've seen that video. I used them to pick out my TBR. I thought it would be fun to use it to navigate my TBR and help me pick books to put on my TBR. Then I thought about it and I was like, how much fun would it be to use these cards to recommend books to people? Because sometimes book recommendations are a little bit hard. It's like you kind of have your go-tos, you recommend the same books over and over again. But with prompt cards, such as a book that has been adapted into a movie or TV show, it gets you to think about your shelves a little bit differently and forces you to pick something you might not otherwise have picked. And I think it's really cool too, because if you're watching this, you might say, that sounds like a really cool subject. I wonder what she'll pick. All right, I'm interested in that subject. I'm going to read it. Or I don't care about movie adaptations. I don't want to read that, you know? I thought I would draw some cards, recommend some books, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, the first card. A book set in winter. That'll be fun. I don't know how many books that I have read that are set in winter, but I will recommend you something set in winter. I have a choice. I picked one already in my brain. The next card we have says, a book by a debut author. This will be fun. There's so many good debut authors. The next card we have is a book that has been adapted into a movie or TV show. The card we got at the beginning. So that'll be also fun. Let's see what else we get. The next one we have is a book with multiple POVs. Okay, that's pretty broad. And let's do one more. And the last one we're going to do, the newest book on your TBR. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's see what we have. Hello, multiple POVs. Do we have one? Can we think of one? The first card we pulled is a book set in winter. This one is a little bit trickier than I thought because I very much wanted to make sure I was picking books that I had already read because I didn't want to be recommending books that I haven't read. That doesn't make any sense to me. So, a book set in winter, there are very few that I've read that are set in winter, but this is one of my favorites. It is older. Don't judge me on how old it is. That is If I Stay by Gail Forman. This is very old. A lot of people know about this book. A lot of people have read this book. A lot of people have seen the movie for this book. But if you haven't picked it up, if you haven't read it, I implore you to. It is so quick. It is literally 196 pages with giant font. And this copy is signed, which makes me like so happy inside. But If I Stay is just so good. And honestly, the sequel is just so underrated. Nobody talks about it. It's one of my favorite books of all time. I actually read it once a year if I can, but I highly recommend. It's a duology. Like I said, you can stop at the first book if you really wanted to. It's very short. It's an easy read. And yes, it is set in winter. You can see the snowflakes in the background. If you don't know what If I Stay is about, let me read you the synopsis. Just listen, Adam says with a voice that sounds like shrapnel. I open my eyes wide now. I sit up as much as I can and I listen. Stay, he says. Choices. 17-year-old Mia is faced with some tough choices. Stay true to her first love, music, even if it means losing her boyfriend and leaving her family and friends behind. Then one February morning, Mia goes for a drive with her family, and in an instant, everything changes. Suddenly, all the choices are gone except one, and it's the only one that matters. If I Stay is a heart-achingly beautiful book about the power of love, the true meaning of family, and the choices we all make. I haven't read that description since I probably picked this book up, and it is bare bones, but please trust me. I love this book. I love this book. And if you've seen the movie, don't judge the movie on the book. The movie is still, I actually really love the movie, so if you've seen the movie and you don't like it, then I'm sorry. We can agree to disagree. But I love this book, and I was very limited. There are not a ton of books I have that take place in winter that I've read, so. The next card we got was a book by a debut author. This one was actually a little bit harder for me to determine because I don't specifically really pay attention to the books that I read and whether or not it's an author's first book. And honestly, a lot of books don't actually call out that it's an author's first book. So I really had to think about it. And then one came to my mind. It's one that's pretty popular. A lot of people know it. A lot of people have read it. Just in case you haven't, this is a book by a debut author. And that is Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. This is a really special fancy edition. The two together, the duology, the Daughter of the Siren Queen, make up a boat in water. It's so stunning. This is a FairyLoot exclusive edition. I'm obsessed with this. We are not going to talk about the beauty of, we are going to talk, like, oh, are you kidding? But this is a book that I actually picked up way back in the day when I was doing my Disney college program. I was living in Florida in Walt Disney World, and there was Barnes & Noble like 20 minutes away from where I was living. And I went in, I saw this book on the shelf, and the tagline for this book, I went, oh, I have to read this. This is loosely a Jack Sparrow retelling, and I am a huge fan of Pirates of the Caribbean and Jack Sparrow specifically. And when I saw the little dedication inside, I went, I'm buying this. I don't care. I'm buying this immediately. And I bought it and read it really quickly. I had to pull out my OG copy to read you what I was talking about. Yes, the very top here. Readers should rejoice because we now have a Lady Jack Sparrow on our hands. Immediate purchase for me. Immediate. And then it says, let us not, dear friends, forget our dear friends, the cuttlefish. Quote, Captain Jack Sparrow, Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. And I immediately, this is the copy I bought from Florida several years ago when I was doing my college program. And yeah, I had to get this edition. It's just absolutely stunning. But I love pirates. I love sea books, which is actually really funny because I'm pretty much afraid of everything in the ocean, but I tend to like pirate books and sea books, so whatever that means. But Daughter of the Pirate King, if you haven't heard of it, let me read you the synopsis. You're gonna be entranced. 17-year-old Alosa, daughter of the feared Pirate King, is sent on a mission to retrieve an ancient hidden map, the key to a legendary treasure trove. The catch? She must conceal her considerable combat skills and allow herself to be captured by her enemies, giving her the perfect opportunity to search their ship. More than a match for the ruthless pirate crew, Alosa has only one thing standing between her and the map, her captor, the unexpectedly clever and unfairly attractive first mate, Raiden. But luckily, Alosa has a few tricks up her sleeve, and no lone pirate can stop the daughter of the Pirate King. The next card that we drew says a book that has been adapted into a movie or TV show. This one was a very instant grab. I have a ton of books that have been adapted to TV shows and movies, so many, too many to choose from. But to be honest, the movie for this one, terrible. And I know that most of you know a lot of TV shows and movie adaptations don't live up to our love and our view of what a book should be on the screen. This one was absolutely terrible. I really wanted to love it because I love the cast. The cast was spot on and so perfect. I loved the world. But unfortunately, they tried to cram all 3 books into one singular movie, and it was just, it fell short. I was obsessed with this book. I devoured this series. I tabbed my original trilogy so much. It's down there, otherwise I would grab it, but I did grab the movie tie-in cover for the question. The book is Chaos Walking by Patrick Ness, and as you can see on the cover, Daisy Ridley and Tom Holland were in the movie, and like I said, I loved the casting. I just could not fathom how they tried to fit all 3 books into one movie. So if you've seen the movie, please don't judge it on that. Please, please, please. If you are a fan of dystopian at all, pick up this book. This is so good. And how thought-provoking it was for me, and how intense it was for me, and the journey that you go on with this intellectually and mentally and emotionally is just unmatched. Like, this is one of my top favorite books of all time and book series of all time. And again, it's called the Chaos Walking trilogy. The first book is technically called The Knife of Never Letting Go, but let me read you the synopsis so that you can just understand. Todd Hewitt lives in a town unlike other towns. There are no women, and everyone can hear everyone else's thoughts in an overwhelming, never-ending stream of noise. But one day, Todd meets someone who should not exist. A girl. Even in a town where privacy is impossible, there is a secret so terrible the pair must run for their lives. But how do you escape when your pursuers can hear your every thought? This book, I literally ranted on the phone to my friends for hours about this book. Even though they hadn't read them, my friends let me rant, and I was like, you don't understand. Like, at the end of every single one of these books, tears streaming down my face. Tears streaming down my face, sitting in silence, staring off into the distance, just a mess and just unsure of how to move forward, these books emotionally captured me and devastated me. I really wish I could experience them again for the first time. As I said, this is a trilogy and it's a complete trilogy, so if you do decide to dive in, everything is already out and you won't have to wait. This is one of those books that will stay with me for probably my entire life. I loved it, I adored it, I miss it, I definitely want to reread it. I highly recommend, and if you do pick this book up, please, please, please tell me. I don't care where it is, if it's in the YouTube comments, if you DM me on Instagram, I don't care if you email me and you're like, hey, I picked up Chaos Walking. I want to know because I want to talk about it with somebody. It is everything to me. Anyway, Chaos Walking. The next card that we pulled is a book with multiple POVs. And for this book, I decided to go with The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. If you know, you know I love this book. If you don't know, now you know. I love this book. I've read this book so many times and I'm already actually planning on doing a buddy read of it with my friend Hillary on Instagram, and I cannot wait for her to experience it. I don't hear a ton of people talk about this, but it is so good. It's so captivating and I will read anything Mary Pearson writes. But let me read to you what it's about. A princess must find her place in a reborn world. She flees on her wedding day. She steals ancient documents from the Chancellor's secret collection. She is pursued by bounty hunters sent by her own father. She is Princess Leah, 17, first daughter of the House of Morrigan. The Kingdom of Morrigan is steeped in tradition and the stories of a bygone world, but some traditions Leah can't abide, like having to marry someone she's never met to secure a political alliance. Fed up and ready for a new life, Leah flees to a distant village on the morning of her wedding. She settles in among the common folk, intrigued when two mysterious and handsome strangers arrive, and unaware that one is the jilted prince and the other an assassin sent to kill her. Deceptions swirl and Leah finds herself on the brink of unlocking perilous secrets that may unravel her world, even as she feels herself falling in love. This book is so good. It has everything I love, to be honest, and I miss it. I want to reread it, and this was back when I used to use giant stick. I do not understand. There's definitely more sticky tabs I need to add, but like, who was she that added this giant? Who was she? I don't even want to know. I'm curious as to what I tabbed though. That's a good quote. That was a good quote. That's a dark quote. Yeah, The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. Please read this. Please. And the last card that we drew is the newest book on your TBR. This is a book that I actually just got in a subscription box. I believe it was Fairy Loot. Let me double check. It was Fairy Loot. And I'm very excited to get to this book. It is something that immediately interested me when I opened it up in my Fairy Loot box. And I believe it is the book that I just got in the January box from Fairy Loot. So it is absolutely one of the newest on my TBR. And from the list of cards that I drew, all of the books I recommended before this are books that I have read. But because of the nature of this card, as it being the newest book on your TBR, I wanted to pick something that I haven't read that is really intriguing to me and sounds really good to me, so we can both be excited about something. And that is Spice Road by Maya Ibrahim. This just sounded so good to me when I opened it up. First of all, it is absolutely stunning. She's gorgeous. But the plot sounds really, really good too, so let me read you the synopsis. In the hidden desert city of Kalia, secret spice magic awakens the affinities of those who drink the Misra tea. With her affinity for iron, 17-year-old Amani can wield a dagger like no other, and for that she has gained a reputation as the next greatest shield, battling jinn, ghouls, and the other monsters spreading across the sands. But ever since her brother was discovered stealing their nation's coveted spice, a telltale sign of magical obsession, and disappeared into the deadly forbidden wastes, Amani's reputation has been in tatters. Despite Athir's betrayal, there isn't a day that goes by that she doesn't grieve him. Then Amani discovers signs her brother may be alive, and spreading their nation's magic to outsiders. Desperate to find him and to protect him, she joins the mission sent to hunt him down. Accompanied by Ta, a powerful beast seer who enthralls and enrages her in equal measure, Amani soon discovers that many secrets lie beyond the forbidden wastes and in her own heart. Caught between her duty to her nation and her love for her brother, Imani must decide where her loyalties lie before it's too late. And that, my friends, is it for this video. That is it for my recommendations. This is a new take on something that I've wanted to do for a while, so you'll have to let me know what you thought. If you liked this style of video, if you liked the book recommendations with the prompt cards, if you'd like to see more recommendations in general on this channel. But I really hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys!